Good morning and welcome to the instructional handover video for this guy's Phathom 2007 model. I'm going to walk you around the outside of the vehicle first and then we'll move on to the inside. So we're based on the Mercedes chassis. We've got the driver's door which opens and locks using the key. Just turn it to lock it and turn it to open it. Behind that we've got the habitation door. So we simply just unlock it using the key again and then close it onto the door retainer, just like so. On here we have a separate fly screen which just slides across and then closes onto the frame and then slides across just like so. So that's a full height insect screen. And then when you're pulling it back, just open that, slide that in, and then that little catch just goes into that little hole there. To open and lock the door from the inside, just pull that lever down, and to lock it you pop it the opposite way. There is a striker, so here, which will need pushing down to be able to lock the door. So make sure that that's down before you set off, and then that will engage the door. We've also got fitted to it a security handle. So you pull that down, see there's a handle there, you pull it down again, and that will lock and secure that door area just like so. We've got an awning light above it and it's fitted with an Omnister awning, which I'll send a separate video for you on that. There is an electric step that you work from inside. That's just there, and that retracts the step in and out as and when you want to do that. Behind that we've got the wheel arch. So this will pull out to give you access for changing tyres and access to underneath the vehicles. When you're popping it back in, you just need to firmly press it and that will click back in place. Above we've got the trima vent, so this does get warm, so please be careful touching it, hanging anything off there. And then behind that we've got the access into the rear locker area. So to open it up, you'll just need to twist these and open them again using the key. We've also on here got some security locks, D-locks, which just add to the security of the vehicle. Once you've twisted them and released the little turnbuckles, you'll see there's a door retainer that just goes in there again, and then that will open the door for us here. Inside here we've got the awning pole, we've got a spare wheel, we've got an internal silver screen just there. We've got also a removable solar panel, so that's in the bag here. I'll show you where that plugs into, but that just sits onto the outside. And the lead is just in that carrier bag there. Mains cable and the carpets for the motorhome just there. You can see the water tanks on the passenger side of the vehicle, and on the driver's side we've got your gas. So this will house 2 bottles. We'll generally tell you to fit propane. There is the regulator and there is the pigtail. You've also got a heater vent into here, so you can heat the garage area to dry things out should you wish. All you need to do is simply open that flap just above that gas locker area there. Again, the gas locker will lock using the key just there. We've also got a light in both corners, so you need to turn the 12 volt on, but then the light will operate here and on the opposite side. On closing it, just do the opposite. Push in, turn, and then you'll need your key just in here. Just twist it, and then when it's locked it will stay in. When it's open it will sit out. So something to remember there. Back of the vehicle we've got some reversing sensors, and there's a little monitor inside. And one thing I have missed is just your waste water. That can be found at the back of the vehicle. So just under here you'll see there's a grey lever. Just need to twist it and that will drain the wastewater which comes out in the middle of the vehicle. So that is your wastewater drain. There are also some steadies just there that are fitted, and that will just stop the vehicle from moving around should you wish. So wastewater just underneath on that driver's side. Going round to the passenger side, again we've got a D-lock for security. Twisting them again to open it up. We've got your freshwater drain and freshwater fill. So when you're wanting to fill it up, you'll need to make sure that this is across to hold the water in. or down to drain out the fresh water. Your mains plug-in point to the vehicle is there, and that will come through the hole in the floor to the outside of the vehicle. Yep, so just remember with that type of fitting, you'll just need to remember to unplug it before you leave the site. So it goes up through the bottom here, in and plugs in to that bit, and then just remove it before you move on for your onward journey. To fill it up, you'll just need to undo the water cap here, and that is where you will fill up. So if you do forget, it will just come out of a drop valve just underneath the vehicle there. Same on this side as the other. These will lift up to give you access to that wheel if you need to ever change it. And forward of that, we've got the toilet cassette. So press the button there. To remove the toilet, you'll just need to lift up the little handle under here, just like so, and then slide it out. Now on here, we've got the flush button, so this lets the air escape, and it will let anything out of the toilet go out smoothly. And we've got the cap that we need to remove just where my thumb pointing to empty out anything in there. We've also got a little fuse in here, so a little 3-amp fuse. So if it isn't working, just check that fuse. Sometimes that's one that catches you out. And when you finish, just slide it back in. Now you will need to have the blade valve in the correct position, which I'll show you when we move back inside the vehicle. And the top button is fully lockable on there. Below, we've got a outside wet locker here. So again, just using the key will allow you to do it. Turn it back in, and that will lock it up. Forward into the passenger area here, this is where you'll find the diesel point. So just undo the cap, and that will allow you to fill up with your diesel. The swivel seat on this side, just need to lift that lever up, and that will allow you to swivel the seat around. Then we've got adjusters to the front, to the back, and to the backrest just there. Bonnet release catch, just pull the lever there, and that'll give you access. There's some little pocket there for the original Mercedes tools. Lockable glove box. We've got a jack point for charging. We've got your blowers and fans, CD radio, another glove box there, and then we've got some measurements and heights that the previous customers left. The blinds that you saw inside will just go on the windows inside here, and that will stop you from doing it. And one thing to remember is you must close that before you close the door, and that will just hold the fuel in place like so. Bonnet release catch is just above the Mercedes badge. And once you've opened it, it's just here. Just releases the catch, and then the actual doesn't have a ram on here, it just sits up and sits in that place. Screen wash there, dipstick and oil just there, and then this is where you'll find your engine battery, a couple of fuses just to be aware of in there as well. And releasing it through, then just pull it the opposite way and that will release back. But nice and easy for you to get to, fill up. Just there. And that concludes the external items. Let's move on inside the vehicle itself. So with the door open, we've got your step switch just to the left hand side as you're walking in. We've also got another additional handle and a fire extinguisher just there. And a couple of switches for the awning light and the internal welcoming light just on there. So when you're closing the door, just pull it through and that will lock in place. Your main controls to the vehicle are all above here. So let's start from the very beginning. To get mains, so your power. To get power onto the vehicle, you'll need to press the one that says 12 volt and the light will then illuminate to say that we are working on mains power. 12 volt power. When you're plugged into mains, the mains icon will illuminate. The next one along is your pump. As soon as you press that, it will start up, but please make sure that you do have water in there before you do that. The next two controls are for your temperature sensors, sort of outside and inside, and then your clock settings just on there. To the left of that, we've got fresh water and wastewater settings. They're both empty at the minute, but the needle will move. We've got a power button to tell you that you're getting low on your leisure battery. And then if we hold that, we've got an engine battery voltage and leisure battery voltage. So that's just on there for you. So pretty straightforward. Just recapping, so 12-volt power in the vehicle, mains plug-in point, pump, temperature sensors, clock, fresh water up, wastewater down, battery level, alarm, and then vehicle battery and leisure battery voltage. So all done nice and simply from that main control panel there. To the left we've got a TV bracket just in there. Press that button and it will slide out. We've got storage above the cab and around, and in this corner up here we've just got some storage. Don't think that actually is a plug. No, it's just a blank, that. We've got drinks holders. Pressing the buttons will open up the cupboards. We've got storage above, all along just there. Your main leisure battery and fusers are just there. So it has one leisure battery, so that is under the battery case there. We've got the solar regulator. Now, I mentioned earlier about it's pluggable in, so it plugs in, the electrical cables plug into the black lead, and then you'll run that to the front, and then it will sit on the outside there to get the solar into it. This is your main electrical blocks, so this is the brains of the vehicle. So that's what's giving you sort of the control of power into the vehicle, and that can be located underneath the bench seats here. So seats themselves have seat belts on both sides, and then the table that just sits here. The heater vents can be found around the vehicle, which are these little circular vents there, so you can distribute it around nice and evenly. So there we have the seat belts in place with the cushions back for your travelling onward journey. So also one thing to mention is once the electric's on, that this will brightly illuminate. If you're ever wondering if you're getting power to it, then you should check this light. But the other option to check on the electrics is the RCD breaker. This can be found in the bottom of the wardrobe. So if you didn't think you were getting power to it, you press this little green button here, and it should, like just like that demonstration, flick down. To reset it, just lift it up. So that is like a mains RCD breaker at home, and the little green button is your test button just on there. We've also got a light that goes on and off when you close that door and latch it in. Below that you'll find the water boiler. Now in here there's two things that you'll need to do. The first thing is you'll need to close this little red lever. So in the downward position there, it will allow the boiler to fill up with water. If it was up like that, it will drain the water completely out of the system. Yeah, so filling it up is down, upwards is to empty it. You've also got to the side here is your frost protection valve. Yeah, so this will protect the boiler of any frost. Now what you need to do is lift it up, and it will stay up only if it is at the right temperature and only if the electric is on. If neither of that is working, then it will drop back down. What you'll need to do is get the heating running for a bit, and then it will allow it to stay up. Yeah, so there is a little mark just on top, and it's that little red little toggle that you're pulling at the top. I will show you again when you come on the day, just to make it really clear for you. The heater vents can be changed just by moving these paddles. Yeah, don't forget the one in the back garage area. The back, you've got opening windows on either side with your blinds and your fly screens. So blinds and fly screens. The lights themselves have a little rocker switch at the top to turn it on and off. And to open these rear cupboards, just press the button and it will open up, and then they firmly lock in place. Here you'll just need to remove the little tab, and that will allow the window to open. And on here as well we have a blackout blind for the evening for you. The privacy curtain that pulls across, and then the steps to get you up into that bed area. Here we've got light switch into the toilet area. These switches here are for the main socket, so you'll need to make sure that they're turned on and they'll illuminate for that mains plug to work. So you'll see them dotted around the vehicle. In the bathroom area we've got a similar opening vent. Just need to move that little handle to the side and it will allow the window to open. We've got the shower hose here, just plugs into the retainer. And then we've got the moving round shower area that just swings around there. And then on this side, we have the opposite end of it, and that will give you a nice shower cubicle area, screening off the rest of the van. Pop it back in place for transit, just like so. Here is a little key to open the toiletry cupboard, and then just locks back in place. We've got heater vents just here, toilet roll holder there. Flush button is the blue button on top of the toilet. To the right is the indicator to tell you it's full. And right at the beginning of telling you about the toilet, I mentioned about the blade valve. This is a valve inside the toilet here. To operate it, it's just a lever here. Pull it towards the front of the vehicle, it will open the flap. Pull it towards the back and it will close it. It must be in that back position for you to be able to pull out the toilet cassette. So just bear that in mind. The toilet itself will swivel, yeah, to give you more room. Just make sure when you're using the shower that it is all the way around that way for doing it. And again, the tap will swivel just for you to use it there. It has a clear marker tap on the top to let you know where the hot and cold is. Closing the handle, just lift up the handle and that locks it in place for you, just like so. The big window above your head here will open by pinching the bars up and down, and then it will also wind, so it's a double point opening one. You've got a fly screen and a blind on this window too. Cooking facilities, we've got a 3-burner gas. You just need an igniter to light it up. Yep, and that's how that works. We've got here, we've got your right hand side one, left hand side one, and the opposite side. So it's clearly marked 1, 2, 3. To get into the fridge, which is just in this panel here, you'll just need to unlock and lock that cupboard, and that will open the fridge up for you. Now your selector is here, so you'll need to either select it onto gas, mains, or 12 volt. Remember the 12 volt only works when you're driving though, guys, yeah? So in this situation now, we'd want to be on the 230 volt, which is mains power, obviously, when mains is on. To cool or heat it up, you just turn the dial on this side of it. When you're leaving, you turn it all the way to the top and all the lights should go off for you. Just remember, before you're driving on, to lock that in place just there. And it's the little catch above here that locks and moves in position. To the side of that, we've got your utensil drawer. And below that, we've got your kitchen area with your gas manifold. So them at the minute are all in the working position. If you're unsure, refer back to the video or give us a call and we'll indicate what position they should be in. Again, socket wise, make sure that that's turned on if you want that socket to work, and above it you have got a 12 volt socket just there. These are generally the smaller sockets, so you'll need something called an Adaptit 5. One point to make sure you do is let that cool down, guys, before you close it. And then on this side we have got the mixer tap for hot and cold. Again, it's just giving you a little indicator of where the hot and cold is there. Now, one thing you'll need to do is you'll need to prime it. So just referring back to where it is, you need to turn your pump on. Once your boiler's full, open the tap like so, and then run your water so you get a steady stream. Once you've got a steady stream, then you can close it and you can go about doing your heater controls for your hot water. Just remember, if you haven't shut that valve in here because it's too cold, what you'll need to come and do first of all is turn this outer ring, and this is your heater control. Now this works on gas, so the middle position is off. Just go a bit closer there. So the middle circle is off. The down button there is for your heating. Now turning the inner rail will turn the heating either up or down. So the lowest one being 2, the highest one being 9. If you then turn it down again, that does heating and hot water, but only do that if you've got heating in the vehicle. Sorry, water in your boiler. Yeah. So heating only, heating and hot water off, 60-degree water at the top and 40-degree down. So that's turning this outer rail. 60, 40 off, heating only, heating and hot water. And like I say, this runs off gas. So you'll need to have your gas turned on for your heating and your hot water to work. It's pretty straightforward. Just remembering that the outer ring is what you're trying to do, and the middle ring is controlling how quick or slow you want it to do it. Above, we've got a couple of lights. So again, these will turn off manually, just like so, or will turn off completely when you turn off the 12 volt on that control panel. Driver's handbrake is just in the middle, and on here we have got the little blade valve just there, which is to swivel it on the driver's side. On here we've got your lights and windscreen washers. You've got your indicators on this stalk. It's an automatic gearbox, so on here it will change the settings in the middle here, depending on whether you're going in neutral, reverse, or across to go in forward. If you want to go into manual, you'll go across again, and then you can change it down manually up and down the gearbox. When you finish, just into neutral, and that will neutralise it off. We've got the diffusers which move around, yeah, and open and close on how quick or slow you want it to blow. And we've got the sensor just there for our reversing sensors. That concludes the instructional video for this guy's Phathom. I hope you find it useful, enjoyable. One thing to remember when you're leaving, press the 12 volt button off and the light will go off. Obviously remember to unplug your mains. Make sure all the lockers are securely placed. Make sure you push all your push buttons in for your onward travels. But then you'll be able to start your new adventures. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We tend to put a lot of context on there. But thank you very much for watching our video.